Now, people are talented at certain things, and understanding various cultures does not tend to be one of them. How many of you know everything about every culture? You don't. Especially if you have something against that culture, you don't bother to look into it. The first sign of it, you just, stigmatize it and speak badly of it. Blackball the participants or the adherents of it. People who are part of that culture. So this video, I will play two clips after this clip. One is of my voicemail on my home phone. The other is of a message from my mother. And you can tell that, it shows you that what I'm saying is true. She's trying to kind of trying to play me out. We just wanted to call you down for breakfast, which by itself is out of the ordinary. They pretty much never call me for breakfast, but that's neither here nor there. But what is the phone call I received from my father, who said, we were looking for you this morning, and we received a rather strange message. Basically, my mother had called and then informed my father. Now, those of you who have been watching my videos for a while know that one of my key arguments was, growing up, my mother would see behavior that she didn't understand. She would exaggerate it to my father. And as a result, he would come home stressed out from work. And right now he didn't come home stressed out from work, but he woke up in the morning with a lot of things on his mind, like he usually does. So my explanation is far more correct than quote unquote the experts, than the oppressors, than psychiatrists, than the opposition view, etc., etc. Okay? Now, I'm not saying my father is stupid or he lacks insight, but he doesn't understand culture. He doesn't understand me. Okay? He went to British boarding school in Nigeria and so on and so forth. He's very, for lack of a better term, he has a mix of African culture and a sort of whitewashed culture. Okay, he used to speak with a British accent when he first came to America because that's how he learned English. He's not exactly hood friendly, if you know what I mean. So that mixed with my mom's interesting complexes. She ironically is a feminist, and how that plays into it is a lot more complex. I don't want to explore that in this video, but it does play a factor. Feminists don't understand black people as well as they would like to believe, including some of the black feminists. Again, I don't want to explore that in this video. So what you see here is a shining example. After all these years, and also earlier in the series, I said that there are the people I put on the phone in my interviews who I actually confide in and talk to and share my thoughts and beliefs with, far more than my parents, know the best about my mental state. It also corroborates that assertion. Okay? It's a little chilly here, that's why I'm wearing this blanket. And the fact that I need to explain myself, shows you the situation psychiatry puts you in. You see how they've broken down my family? You see how they're using their misconceptions against them? And these are people who tend to study sociology, psychology, and so on. They understand the interactions of people and they take advantage of them for the purpose of social control. This is not an accident. This is not a mistake. This is not an honest mistake on behalf of psychiatrists. They are, they're heavily under surveillance, for the most part. They're watching my videos, they're seeing my arguments, they're considering what I'm saying, and they know that what I'm saying is the most accurate presentation of what is going on, based on how I disseminate information and how I figure things out and connect dots. They know damn well that I'm the most insightful person in my family, and as a result, they're listening to what I'm saying about what's going on, and they're saying, how can we take advantage of this? And they know that they're trying to dumb down my parents and misdirect them and mislead them. They consider all this stuff, So anyway, you're going to hear these clips and listen to my mom's tone and how she kind of sounds like confused, a little bit out of it, These are, imagine having these people who don't understand you, who, my mom's a very intelligent lady, but over the years, after being on and off psych meds, this is somebody who used to be a National Merit Scholar. They have broken her down. She looks like a fucking mad lady. And I love my mom. With all due respect, they have her looking like a crazy person who sometimes comes off as extremely fucking out of touch. You know, even when she says, we're just looking for you and, you know, for breakfast, and, you know, it comes off as like, wow. You know, you could have said that in a much less crazy sounding manner, because psych meds have broken her down. Her experiences in life, growing up, okay, I'm not going to explore her personal history, but she had a harsh childhood and it affected her. And being discriminated on for being a woman in med school, dating a black man, affected her. That's part of why she came out as a feminist, because, you know, she has the feminist complex. Once you know, hate on somebody, they develop, either they're going to be 100% right and go and stand strong and recognize their own faults, or they're going to develop a complex where they're blind to their own faults and they're extreme on what they believe. You know, and that's what happens to a lot of people. It's what happens to gays who get discriminated against. They don't see that being a gay is wrong and a sin and it's evil and it spreads diseases and they're disproportionately pedophiles and it's a complex. They don't see that. They just see that we're being discriminated against. We're mad at these people. You damn homophobe, you know. Same thing with feminists, you know. They don't see that breaking down the family is wrong. What they're doing is selfish and evil. They don't want to see it that way. But like, we want the state to raise our child. We want the right to kill babies and man. You know. Yeah. So what you're seeing here is the person who is the most honorable, with the truest perspective, being discriminated against by those who do not see reality as accurately as he does. That is exactly what you are seeing here when you watch my videos, when you hear my story, okay? And that is something I would put my life on. This is not just something I'm saying. You know, I know exactly what is going on, exactly what is wrong with society when it comes to mental health and these sorts of things, okay? And nobody's paying me to say anything. I live not in my parents' basement as some bootlicking racist would have you believe, but I actually live in my room on, you know, the second floor. Okay? Put everything in perspective for you. So, not only do my parents not interact with me, we live in a kind of a big house. They're on one side of the house, I'm on the other, you know? There isn't, you know, isn't like this close, you know, close-knit family where you can hear each other talk. And that's another thing. Going back to, well, he's making a scene. Well, you know, downstairs with the TV on, it's very hard to hear me scream, even if I scream at the top of my fucking lungs. That's another thing to consider. I'm in the middle of nowhere on the second floor in a big fucking house. My parents live down the hall or they're down fucking stairs watching TV. 2 doors, a hallway. Okay? Put things in perspective for you. Am I a threat to anyone? You know? Please. Please. It's like somebody, it may as well be someone across the city, you know, calling the police. I have a feeling that this guy's acting strange. That may as well be their argument. You know, anyway. So when you put everything into perspective, I want you to listen to these clips and consider what I've told you. My dad called me and said, we just want to make sure you're okay. Now, make no mistake. They've made a mental note that he's been acting strangely over a voicemail I've had for months now. My mom's even commented on the voicemail before. In fact, should I play that old message? I'm gonna have to find that message to play. I might put that in the clip because I believe I still have that that message on my answering machine where she calls and says, what? Like she can tell she's offended by the machine before. And this also goes back to social control. She's a feminist, and you'll hear in the clip one of the people I call out as spiritual bottom feeders. I believe I mentioned feminists in the message. So of course she takes offense. You know, because she considers herself a spiritual person, you know, influenced by Buddhism and a lot of the things that the New Age movements are talking about. And she considers herself spiritual and of a higher spiritual understanding than me, okay? That it's key. You need to understand that to understand what is going on here. These people think they know better. They do not. They think they have some kind of right to enforce their beliefs on people such as myself. They don't. If anyone should be enforcing anyone, it should be the other way around. Regardless of age, truth is truth. If anything should be enforced, it should be truth, not assimilation to Babylon's fucking social norms. Listen to the clips. Thank you. Okay, going through my old messages.
You have...
this is...
Wednesday, 9. Thursday, 4.
This is Thursday a while, weeks ago.
What? Why do you have such a long message? All I just want to do is invite you to eat dinner with us. I I just got the food out of the oven. Bye.
And you see how this shows you two things. One is that she's taken offense to the message in the past, but they still brought it up as if there's something wrong with me right now. This is some message I've had for a long time that they've noticed before, but magically they come out later and say, "Are you okay? What does my old message have to do with my current mind state?" You see how I'm more logical than they are? And what was the other thing? Damn, there was something else I wanted to bring up. I'll put in the comments, let me, what was it? Oh, okay, I'll put in the comments, or I'll make another clip. Okay, I remember what it was. Remember when I said the only interactions we really have are, did you take your medicine or for dinner? Okay, the only two messages from my parents on my answer machine to corroborate that as well, when they say, "I just wanted to invite you for dinner." These are the only times we really talk. Who knows about my mind state better than I do? Nobody does, not even close. But who else? It was the people I played you in the interviews who see things my way, on record. And I have 3 of them. I have one of them who's a gang stalker who pretty much admitted they see things my way, and well, as far as mental health, they think that I don't need mental health, but I might have an anger problem, which is stupid. It doesn't mean anything. And they also admitted that they were told to provoke me to get me to the psych ward. 2 was this female who's known me for 14 years. She said I'm the most normal person she knows. 3 was this other female who said she's been talking to me since February. Right now since last year, almost a year now, because it was February 2015. It's now January 1st, 2016. I might not upload this video the same day. I probably won't. So to put things in perspective for you. So yes, when you watch my videos, when you listen with a fair and balanced mind, it is impossible to look at it with a fair and balanced mind and to assume that I need psychiatric medications, or to come to the conclusion, especially a conclusive conclusion, that I need psychiatric medication. Thank you.
You have 1 new message and 7 old messages. Friday, 9:16 a.m.
Hello, are you there? Can you come down for breakfast?
Never call me for breakfast, but that's neither here nor there. But what is the phone call I received from my father, who said, "We were looking for you this morning, and we received a rather strange message. Stigmatize it, and speak badly of it, blackball the participants or the adherents of it. People who are part of that culture." So this video, I will play 2 clips after this clip. One is of my voicemail. Now, people are talented at certain things, and understanding various cultures does not tend to be one of them. How many of you know everything about every culture? You don't. Especially if you have something against that culture, you don't bother to look into it. The first sign of it, you just, on my home phone. The other is of a message from my mother, and you can tell that, it shows you that what I'm saying is true. She's trying to play me out. We just wanted to call you down for breakfast, which by itself is out of the ordinary. They pretty much, basically my mother had called and then informed my father. Now, those of you who have been watching my videos for a while know that one of my key arguments was, growing up, my mother would see behavior that she didn't understand. She would exaggerate it to my father, and as a result, he would come home